Deep beneath the crust of the world, where no light had ever dared to venture, an ancient gate pulsed with an unnatural, otherworldly light. It was a gateway not meant for mortal eyes, a seam between universes formed by a cosmic glitch, the collision of the ancient Titan energies that slumbered within the hollow earth and the boundless will of the One Piece. Beyond that shimmering threshold lay the Grand Line, a world of endless adventure and untamed seas. But on this day, the line between worlds thinned, and through the rift came a thunderous arrival. 100 Kongs. Not mere clones or shadowy echoes, but primal titans, the true gods of Skull Island, now supercharged by the radioactive heart of the hollow earth. Their eyes burned with a fierce instinct, a raw rage, and beneath it, something far older, a call that echoed across dimensions. Far across the seas, Monkey D. Luffy, the newly crowned Pirate King, felt it deep in his bones. It wasn't fear, it was destiny. "This sounds fun," Luffy grinned, his trademark carefree smile stretching wide. His arms stretched toward the sky, elastic and alive with the power of the awakened Nika fruit. "Let's go wild." Round 1. King versus King. The Kongs landed across the red line like a storm of fury, devastating everything in their path. Their roars quaked the seas, challenging even the great sea kings. Islands were crushed beneath fists as large as entire ships. The world trembled beneath their might. But Luffy was no ordinary man. In Gear 5, he bounced across the sky, laughter ringing like thunder, his very form bending and warping reality around him. He seized one Kong by the face and slammed it mercilessly into another. Boom! Mountains shattered, oceans lifted in waves of wild chaos. He was having the time of his life. Yet the Kongs were no mindless beasts. They adapted quickly, their primal minds united not only by instinct, but by something darker and unseen puppeteer tugging at their wills. Round 2. The Titan Gauntlet. As the battle raged, the Kongs began to wield powers born from the core of the hollow earth itself. One breathed rivers of molten magma, another summoned shockwaves that shattered the very air, yet another bent gravity to his will. They fought not as individuals, but as a unit, employing Titan tactics that overwhelmed even Gear 5's absurd strength. Still, Luffy laughed. He used one Kong's punch as a trampoline, launching himself through 5 others in a blur of rubbery chaos. Growing to giant size, he wrapped himself around 10 Kongs like a living net and flung them into the void of space. With each heartbeat, doom, doom, he unleashed power beyond belief. But whispers began to seep into his mind, faint and sorrowful. The dark twist, the primal lie. Far below, deep in the hollow earth, a colossal titan stirred. Titanus Kurokong, the first king, a being sealed away millennia ago after destroying his own universe, was awakening. The 100 Kongs had not come to conquer, they were fleeing. Luffy was not their prey, he was the key. His Nika fruit was more than a liberator of souls, it was a breaker of barriers. His joy, his freedom, had shattered the ancient prison that held Kurokong captive. As the last Kong fell, whispering, "Forgive us," the earth cracked open, and from the depths rose a monstrous figure 10 times the size of any Kong. A skeletal gorilla crowned with obsidian horns, Kurokong, the devourer of freedoms. He grinned, a sound like the cracking of worlds. "You dance too much, little god." The endgame, a deal with the darkness. Luffy launched himself at Kurokong, Gear 5 at its peak, stretching across the stratosphere, his fist striking with the force of looping time itself, but Kurokong laughed, unfazed. The Titan King began to absorb the last of the Kongs, fusing their essences into a colossal abomination that warped the very laws of joy and freedom. The skies bled red, seas boiled, and even the sun twisted in agony. Then, the final, shattering truth. Kurokong was not born in the hollow earth. He was Joy Boy, the original. A god who once sought to liberate the multiverse, only to be broken by despair, twisted into a monster of ruin. Luffy stared into his own dark reflection and realized the terrible fate of all Nika users. All who wield the fruit's power become Kurokong in the end. Their joy burns too bright, the world cannot contain it, and eventually it consumes them. Luffy's smile faltered. Then, with a wild grin even wider than before, he whispered, "I guess I'll just laugh louder." With a punch that shattered reality itself, Both he and Kurokong vanished into a blinding white. The mind-blowing ending. Centuries passed, peace reigned, until a child far away found a piece of rubber floating in the emptiness of space. She touched Itan, smiled. Across the multiverse, in the data streams of all sentient AIs, a message flickered to life. Joy detected, initiating reset. Reality began to loop. The One Piece was never treasure. It was hope encoded in the very fabric of existence, hidden in the heart of the wildest pirate who ever lived. And as for the story, even I can't tell if it ends or just begins again.